Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope your day and your week are going well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. I've got 7 picks in tonight's slate that I'm pretty excited to hand out. We are on a really strong run, 17-9 run right now, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. We have so much great content between MLB, NBA, all kinds of good stuff coming out that you guys do not want to miss. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. We just hit 65,000 subscribers last night. When you hit that subscribe button down below, we get there just a little bit closer. We are more than 65% of the way to 100,000 subscribers. Help us get there just a little bit sooner. All right, before we dive into today's video, let's dive into our recap of last night. Not a terrible night, not a great night, a solid night overall. We went 4-3 last night. Like I said, we are on a 17-9 run to kick off the MLB season so far. So 26 props handed out. We cashed on 17. That's not too bad. That means that right now we are hitting our props at a 65.4% hit rate, which is more than sharp. So pretty good rate to start the year off. And you see my props, nothing really goes high. We're not doing alternate lines. We're not doing anything super crazy here. I try to keep the odds relatively on the lower side. So it's pretty legit what we're doing right now. Again, let's hope we can carry that positive momentum, carry those vibes into today's video and the rest of the season. We saw a couple close misses last night. Matt Olson did get a hit, but unfortunately, in a game where the Braves destroyed their opponent, no hits. Only one hit. No runs, no RBIs for Matt Olson. Went 1 for 5 batting. Not great, but we just missed the mark. And Keaton Winn, we cashed the over on his earned runs at 2.5, but he finished with just 4 hits. So we were close, but no cigar there. Like I said, guys, 7 props for tonight's slate. Oh, and real quick, one more time, the ride of the day. We're taking this a page out of Ev's book. We're doing this every day now. Hashtag ride of the day. I think overall what I did yesterday worked. So from now on, what I'll do is I'll post in the pinned comment my outlier link that shows you guys all of my picks for the slate. And below that, we'll do the hashtag ride of the day. Yesterday's ride of the day, we had Juan Soto over 1.5 total bases. He did not hit. He went 0 for last night batting. So apologies to GLS 93 kid. Solid. I couldn't disagree with it. Juan Soto was hot at the time, but unfortunately did not hit. So comment hashtag ride of the day, and your pick could be featured in the pinned comment. All right, guys, no more time to waste. Let's dive into today's video. Let's jump right into the Outlier screen, guys. Outlier, the best sports betting tool on the market. Link in the description below, 7-day free trial to check it out for yourself. All this great sports betting data. I'm telling you guys, you will not regret it. You got nothing to lose. You try it out for 7 days. You don't like it, you cancel. But I guarantee you guys, you will not be disappointed. So one more time, link in the description below, 7-day free trial to get all the data that I'm showing you here for yourself. All right, guys, first prop for today's slate, we're going with the Angels-Marlins game. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with Josh Bell of the Miami Marlins over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Now, I said I don't do too high. This is usually the highest I go on my odds, like minus 145. I know it's a little higher, but I don't go much higher than this normally. This prop is not a DraftKings exclusive. It's available on DraftKings, BetMGM, and Underdog. But if you use DraftKings like myself, you are getting this at minus 145 odds. And again, you've been watching my MLB videos so far this year. Jesus Christ. So far this year, geez. Real tongue twisted there. If you watch my MLB videos so far this year, you'll know I'm ignoring last 10, last 20 data because a lot of that goes into last season. We are almost, by the next week, we'll be able to use the last 10 data in our analytics, in our analysis for our sports betting purposes. You see here, these are all the games for this year. These are still dating back to last season. So for now, we're still just looking at 2024 and head-to-head. You see the 2024 so far for Josh Bell. He's cashed this line in 3 out of 5 games. You see here he's averaging 1.6 hits plus runs plus RBIs per game this year. He has cashed this in each of his last 2 games, including last night versus the Angels. And again, the head-to-head data just reiterates the fact that he cashed this last night versus the Angels. Now, scrolling down here to the matchup data now, at first glance, it doesn't look great here. Josh Bell's had 11 plate appearances versus Tyler Anderson since 2018. You see here, he's only batting 100 with a 182 OBP versus Anderson in 11 plate appearances. Again, only 11, so it's not like it's a huge sample size there. But the matchup is too good to ignore. Again, I know that head-to-head data since 2018 does not look great, but look at the head-to-head data here in terms of splits. Right. For 2023, Josh Bell had a 247 batting average, but versus left-handed pitchers, that jumps to 265. So he was a better hitter last year versus left-handed pitchers than overall. And for Tyler Anderson versus right-handed batters, you see his ERA jumps from 5.43 to 7.58. His batting average, I know it shows red, but it's essentially the same, a 265 batting average. But everything else, his home runs per 9 innings, everything goes up. So I got to look at the splits here. I got to look at the matchup again. I know that's a little concerning here. the head-to-head history versus Tyler Anderson, but the splits are too hard to ignore here. And Josh Bell has been off to a solid start to the year. Again, he's a 60% hit rate so far this year. 3 out of 5 games. It's a minus 145 for a reason. I'm going to take the chance, knowing the history versus Tyler Anderson. I'm going to take the splits and trust that Josh Bell will continue his strong form. All right, guys, our second prop from today's slate, also tipping off first pitch. Jesus. Still, listen, guys, when you do videos for multiple sports, unfortunately, the terminology gets kind of mixed together. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Eastern time, not tip-off, that's NBA. 6:40 p.m. first pitch. We're going to the Reds-Phillies game. I actually have 2 props for this game. We're going Elly De La Cruz over half a total base. Now, again, this is a higher odds prop. You get this at minus 150 for BetMGM. We're taking this at minus 155 at DraftKings. Again, this is the highest you'll ever see me go in odds. I'm not doing alternate lines here. This isn't an alternate line. This is a regular line. If you go any higher, it goes to plus money. So we'll go with the over half for minus 150 on BetMGM, minus 155 on DraftKings. Also available on Caesars and Underdog. And again, ignoring the data, but there's a lot of green here for Elly De La Cruz. In 2024 so far, it went 100% hit rate. He's cashed this in all 4 games this season for Cincinnati. He had a 59% hit rate last year in general, 57 out of 97 games last year. He cashed the over with an average of 1.64 total bases per game. And look at the head-to-head matchup. Again, reiterating that he cashed last night versus the Phillies. He had 1 total base last night and a 6-3 win for the Reds. Now you scroll down here in the matchup. The splits are pretty good here for this matchup. You see here Elly De La Cruz overall last year batted .235, but versus right-handed pitchers, and we have a pretty large sample size here, he was batting .255. You see all the numbers, extra base hit percentage, everything increases and it's in the green zone there versus right-handed pitchers. So he's a much better hitter versus right-handed pitchers than in general. And you look at the pitching matchup for Spencer Turnbull. Now, there's no head-to-head data here for Spencer Turnbull. He did not have any matchups versus Cincinnati last season. But you see here, overall, 7.26 ERA, and that does drop versus left-handed batters to a 6.62 ERA. The thing is, though, the sample size is kind of small, 79 batters faced, plus, although it's better than the 7.26 ERA he has in general, 6.62 ERA for a starting pitcher, not particularly good. His batting average allowed, however, does take a jump versus left-handed batters. Again, only 79 batters faced, but a .315 batting average allowed versus left-handed batters. You see the slugging percentage goes up significantly. Extra base hit percentage goes up significantly. So this is all matchup here. I love Elly De La Cruz here in this matchup. And there's a reason why it's minus 155 odds. All right, guys, our third prop from today's slate and our second prop from this Reds-Phillies game. We're going with Spencer Steer over half a total base. We had him yesterday in a prop that cashed for us. Now you're getting this at BetMGM for minus 135. On DraftKings, like me, if you're using it like myself, minus 140. Also available on Caesars and on Underdog. So pretty good. Again, a little bit on the higher side in terms of odds, but still a solid bet overall. Just to paint you a picture here, Spencer Steer last year cashed this line at a 65% hit rate, averaging 1.73 total bases per game last year for the Phillies. So far in 2024, a 75% conversion rate, 3 out of 4 games this year, averaging 2.75 total bases per game. The only time he didn't hit this was on their March 30th matchup versus the Nationals. But in every other game, including last night, he had a massive game last night, 6 total bases versus the Phillies. A really big game for Spencer Steer yesterday. And like I said in yesterday's video, the Reds are going to be a very fun team this year, and they just continue to show that. You see here the head-to-head data versus the Phillies. Now, this is dating back to April of last year. He's cashed this in 6 of his last 8 games versus the Phillies. The 75% hit rate, 2.13 total bases average per game versus the Phillies. Now, the matchup isn't as great as we've seen in the last 2 props, but I still like the data overall. You see here Spencer Steer overall, 271 batting average last year. Versus right-handed pitchers, it does drop to 256. And you see his numbers do generally drop. Not significantly, though. I mean, you see there is a drop, obviously, but they're small percentages. I'm not too concerned with that. His extra base hit percentage has a slight increase. Again, nothing really to look at there. The more concerning part here is the Spencer Turnbull angle. You see here, again, small sample size, but versus right-handed batters. Now, the ERA was significantly higher, 8.10 ERA versus right-handed batters, but the batting average drops significantly from 291 to 259. Still a really high batting average, which is why I'm not too concerned here. 259 batting average allowed is still pretty high. The slugging percentage drops, extra base hit percentage drops significantly. So you see he is it's weird because he is a better pitcher versus right-handed batters in practically every category except for ERA, which is a little strange there. But I'm ignoring that. I'm taking it. I'm going to ride the hot hand here with Spencer Steer. All right, guys, my fourth prop for today's slate. We're switching gears to the Rangers-Rays game. First pitch at 6:50 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Zach Eflin of the Tampa Bay Rays over 2.5 earned runs. This is available practically everywhere. Again, I say it every time. I'm not trying to shit on FanDuel. You guys like FanDuel. You like FanDuel. But outside of football, FanDuel really does suck when it comes to player props. You see here it's available on every sportsbook but FanDuel. We're getting into actually a plus money play on DraftKings, plus 105. Eflin's had one start this year versus the Blue Jays on March 28th. He gave up 6 earned runs in that game. Look at the head-to-head matchup. The last time he faced off with the Tampa Bay Rays back in October of last year, a playoff game, he gave up 5 earned runs to the Rangers. So overall, he was a good pitcher last year. You see this over. He cashed the under actually more than he cashed the over. This was only a 44% hit rate on this over. Excuse me. He averaged 2.31 earned runs per game. So really overall was a solid pitcher, but I like the matchup here. This Rangers offense has the potential to be one of the best in Major League Baseball. Definitely, I think, a top 5 lineup in the league here. You look here, the data from last season, the Rangers, top 5 hitting team across the board in every category last season. Look at the last 30 ranks, and that goes through, I believe, the playoffs and the World Series and everything. Still unbelievable batting averages, slugging percentage, everything is off the charts there. Like I said, plus money play. There's definitely some risk involved here, but I do like this line. This Rangers lineup rakes, and I just don't trust Eflin right now against a Rangers team like this. I think he hits this over fairly convincingly. All right, guys, 3 props left for today's slate. The next game we're checking out Yankees Diamondbacks. First pitch, 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going Alex Verdugo of the New York Yankees under 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. You see here, this prop's available on DraftKings, BetMGM, and Underdog, minus 115 odds. We're getting this on DraftKings here. And 2024 season so far for Verdugo, he's cashed this under in 3 out of 5 games. The first 2 games versus Houston, he did cash the over, but he's now covered this under in 3 straight games, including last night versus the Diamondbacks. He did score a run, but he had no hits and no RBIs. Last year with the Red Sox, he had a 50% hit rate on this under, an average of 2.01 hits plus runs plus RBIs per game. And the head-to-head data, again, he cashed this line last night versus Arizona. Now, you look at the head-to-head data here, the splits and everything, and although you see a lot of red here, it's one of those situations where I'm going to trust the matchup here. Zach Gallen's one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. You see Verdugo's history versus Gallen since 2018, 3 plate appearances. He is batting .333 with a .333 OBP with 1 hit. However, remember, we're talking about runs and RBIs here. Does not have a cash on this versus Gallen the last time they played. Alex Verdugo in 2023 last year, 264 batting average. That does go up a little bit versus right-handed pitchers. You see it jumps to 279, but it's a slight increase. Yes, he's a better hitter versus right-handed pitchers, but it's not a significantly large increase. And Zach Gallen, kind of the same here. Now, yes, his numbers do inflate versus left-handed batters. His ERA goes from 3.47 to 3.88. His batting average jumps from 2.38 to 2.44. His home runs per 9 inning jumps from 0.9 to 1.3. So, yes, obviously, you see a jump in the data, but it's a slight increase. The ERA is the only area where it takes a pretty significant jump, but for the most part, it's all just minor increases. Like I said, 238 versus 244, still solid overall. I trust Gallen here in this matchup here. Verdugo is very inconsistent. As a Red Sox fan who had the opportunity to watch him for a few years, betting his unders, I know he only has a 50% hit rate last year, but I feel safer betting his under than betting his over here in this matchup. All right, guys, 2 props left. This next one, Guardians-Mariners game, 9:40 p.m. first pitch. We're going with Shane Bieber of the Cleveland Guardians under 2.5 earned runs. We are getting this from minus 130 on DraftKings, but is available on Caesars, BetMGM, and Underdog here. This Shane Bieber line, minus 180 on Underdog. That's kind of crazy, actually. Again, solid prop last year. Hit this at a 52% hit rate on the year. In 2024 so far, he's only had 1 start on opening day versus Oakland, but he had 0 earned run. That is the Oakland A's. However, they are the worst team in baseball, so really kind of hard not to give up a lot of runs versus them. And the head-to-head matchup, the last time he faced off with Seattle, got to go back to March of last year. He gave up 0 earned runs in the beginning of last season for Cleveland. You look at the splits here for Seattle. They're batting versus right-handed pitchers. You see here they are actually a really good matchup. They are bottom in the league, bottom 5 in their last 30 versus right-handed pitchers. You see 181 batting average, 247 OBP, 262 slugging percentage. Everything is in the green for us, which is good. Now, Shane Bieber last year as a starting pitcher had a 253 batting average allowed, which is not very good. It's okay. A 3.80 ERA, not terrible, not the best in the world, but a solid ERA, not bad. You see here mostly in the green in most of these categories. So overall, Shane Bieber, a solid pitcher. Didn't have the best 2023 season, but overall is a solid name in the game of baseball with a Mariners team that, let's just be honest, they're kind of uninspiring. It felt like Seattle was finally going over the hump and they were finally going to become something, and now it just feels like they're kind of going down again. I don't know. They're a weird place. They have a lot of nice pieces, but right now I'm fading the Mariners as much as I can, so I'll take the Shane Bieber under, absolutely. All right, guys, our 7th and final prop for tonight's slate. We're going over to the Giants-Dodgers game. First pitch, 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Jorge Soler of the San Francisco Giants under 1.5 total bases. We're getting this from -145 on DraftKings, but it's available on Caesars, BetMGM, and on Underdog, all basically in the same ballpark in terms of odds, no pun intended there. You look at last year's number for Soler. He covered this under in 61% of his games, an average of 1.86 total bases per game. Now, he had some pretty big games here and there, but again, overall, a 61% hit rate. This year so far, 4 out of 5 games, he's cashed the under, 80% hit rate. Including last night versus the Dodgers, you see here overall, a couple games, 0. He had 1 game versus the Padres on March 29th where he had 2 total bases. And look, this is all about the match. You see here, Jorge Soler versus Tyler Glasnow since 2018. Has a 0 batting average. Now, he does have a 333 OBP, but he has 0 hits off of Tyler Glasnow since 2018 in 6 plate appearances versus him. You see Soler overall batted 250 last year. His batting average does drop to 242 versus right-handed pitchers. Overall, you see the numbers go down. His extra base hit percentage drops slightly. Everything slightly drops when he goes off against right-handed pitchers. But you look at Glasnow's numbers versus right-handed batters, you see a significant increase in value. Overall, 3.52 ERA is one of the best pitchers in baseball, but that ERA drops to 2.20 versus right-handed batters, and it's versus 219 batters faced, so it's not like it's a small sample size. His batting average allowed dips to 164. Slugging percentage drops to 264. Everything drops. The only thing that doesn't take a significant drop is the extra base hit percentage. Slight decrease, but overall, a massive decrease in value there. I mean, increase in value, decrease in the numbers. So this is all about matchup here. You look at Tyler Glasnow versus the Giants last season, 1-0 record, 1.50 ERA per 9 innings. Overall last year was 10-7 with a 3.52 ERA. Really solid data here. I like it a lot. It's a really good spot here for the 7th and final prop of today's slate. So, guys, that is it for me today. Again, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, all that good stuff. Comment hashtag ride of the day and give me your bet. And if you're lucky enough, it'll be featured in the pinned comment, and we'll ride along with you. Guys, again, make sure to check out for that pinned comment. I also post the outlier link in there that shows you my bet slips so you can follow along with all of my bets as the game goes along. Guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. I will be back tomorrow with a new MLB Player Prop video. Until then, I hope we're all winners. Have a good one, guys.